See Mr. Shorten there. I'd like to call to order Public Health and Community Service, February 27th. Can I get a roll call, please?
Hendricks.
Here.
Krager.
Here.
Van Hoff.
Present.
Sullivan.
Here.
Shorten.
Here.
Altoff. Von Bergen.
Here. Can I get a motion to let Mr. Shorten into the meeting, please?
I'll make the
I'll
motion.
make them.
All right, Ms. Van Hoff, Mr. Hendricks seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Welcome, Mr. Shorten. Next up, can I get a minute approval for January 6th?
Motion.
Ms. Van Hoff, Mr. Sullivan seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
No public comment?
No public comments. All right, how about member comments? Do we have any member comments this morning? All right. Seeing none and no new business. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're on the routine consent agenda. I get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Ms. Alta makes the motion. Ms. Van Hoff seconds. Are there any?
Thanks, guys.
Would you like to pull any from the consent agenda, Mr. Shorten?
Yeah, 6.1, please.
All right,
Then I'll revise the motion to
So
approve
we'll-
6.2 of the routine consent agenda.
okay.
Second.
Then let's get a roll call for 6.2, please.
Van Hoff.
Yes.
Krager. Yes. Sullivan.
Yes.
Hendricks.
Yes.
Shorten.
Yes,
Altoff.
Yes.
Von Bergen.
Yes. All right, next, then could I get a motion for 6.1?
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Altoff, Ms. Van Hoff seconds, and now discussion. We'll let Pete
Would you like me to do a little
start
background?
off. Yes, please.
Mental Health Board has a broad amount of autonomy in terms of how they do their staffing and what they deem as appropriate. And when this change came through, it was suggested that there wasn't going to be a resolution accompanying it. It was a memo kind of documenting the changes that had been asked by the Mental Health Board. A memo to our HR department saying, please make these roster changes and changes in grades. That presented a problem because we don't do that in HR. We don't change grades absent some acknowledgement from the county board. I thought perhaps a way of addressing this would be that we simply tell a committee that this has happened, just so there's some record, right? Just, it's not happening without county board awareness. I talked with Chairman Bueller and Finance Chair Scala about this, and their direction was to make it a little bit more formal. Let's do a resolution, although the county board really can't stop it. Let's do a resolution so there is documentation and all 24 board members are seeing what moves are being made. I had a...
You mean 18 board members?
What's that?
18, not
Yeah,
24.
thank you. It's my old days. It's been a while now.
We do that all the time.
I set up a meeting with Leonetta to talk through what I was anticipating happening. She did bring with her a couple of the attorneys from Zukowski, and I think they were understanding my position, that there was a need for documentation. At the end of the day, it's our payroll system, and that's the reality. It's the county's payroll system that is paying those staff, and we can choose to administer that payroll system as we want. The alternative, of course, with mental health board to do their own payroll. Not suggesting that, no one is, but that, you know, if that were to happen, you'd have no control, right? So I think the attorneys for mental health board were comfortable with this approach, and in fact reviewed that resolution that's in the packet and offered a couple of minor edits, and here we are. So it's really just administrative bookkeeping at this point.
Mr. Shorten, did you have any questions or comments?
I have a number of questions. I'm just trying to figure out which ones are appropriate. So this is just a vote to reclassify, correct? Reclassify and reallocate their budget line items?
Yeah, there's reallocation, or line item transfer, excuse me.
Okay, so do we have the authority to do that?
They have the authority to do that.
Okay, so whether we approve it or reject it, they can do it anyway.
Yes. I'm trying to treat it as everything, but
Just, my comment is, I like this process. Basically, there's now a better communication between the mental health board and what they are doing and what they can do, but the county provides a great deal of resource to them with regard to payouts, payroll, et cetera. So what this is just kind of a communication to the board that within their budget, they're going to do this reclassification and line item transfer. So actually, it's better than perhaps it would have been, because they would have done it and we really wouldn't have had any information, and they just would have said something to HR to change the payment process.
thank you, Pam. And I forgot to mention another benefit of this is it also helps our finance staff know where the money's
Right.
moving around, and it creates an audit trail for when the external auditors are there and say, hey, how did $17,000 move from services to personnel? Well, here's how it happened. The county board was aware. Not saying you approved it, saying you're aware of it.
And that's the way it reads. I'm looking at it now, that's the way it reads.
Yeah, I think McCardle had that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or Brandy.
Great.
Well, I mean, I have questions relative to, you know, these budget line items that are being reallocated. What were the actual spending on them years prior? You have one position that's moved from part-time to full-time. We don't have any financial, you know, impact. I'm assuming that's an increase in salary and also an increase in benefits. So I'm just trying to figure out what we're actually, is this just a cordial, it's okay?
It's going from roughly 22,000, increasing roughly by 12,000 on the pay. And then they're now eligible for roughly 22,000 in health benefits, but at this time, they're not opting to take them.
But they can at any time.
But they could. Yeah, the employee.
But the position would still be eligible for.
Correct.
For
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
And then as far as do we have any information on the line items that the funds are being reallocated out of in the budget?
That was a question I had too. Is this a line item within the mental health's budget?
Yeah.
Just shifting something over?
Right.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's from what would go to services of some sort, but it's moving.
But it's their budget moving.
It's their budget.
It's their yeah.
Their budget, right.
Doesn't touch our budget at all.
Let me see.
So do we have the data that shows from a budget perspective? Because I feel like if it's not our purview, then so be it. But I feel like we're approving an increase in spending.
They're moving it from overtime employee, they're moving 5,000 from overtime, 2,125 from employee tuition, 5,000 from consultants, and 5,000 from special studies.
And Mike,
Do we know that?
and Michael, look at the way the resolution is written. We're not approving. It's a communication to us about what they're doing and how it then affects the county's operating procedures. We're not approving.
Okay.
It's kind of like a notification, but a formal
Well, it's still a
notification.
resolution. We're still voting on it.
Well, it's within their purview to do, though. This is what is important.
That's why I read it again, just to make sure. And I get it, it's a resolution. I don't know how else you do it.
Did you have something to add,
I
Scott?
was just saying, all you're approving is, or giving authorization for HR to make this change in their system.
That's
it.
Right,
That's right.
thank you. Better stated.
And if we don't authorize the change, then we'll see that.
Well, then we have a fight with the mental health board, I guess.
Right.
I assume we get sued, and then, but I don't know.
Coming from the attorney, that's probably.
They brought their
Like, that's what I would do.
The attorneys were present for this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they
Don't
brought
ask
their
them about
attorneys
that.
to their original meeting. I'm gonna guess that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just putting you on
Isn't that
notice.
the answer from every lawyer? Yeah, just sue.
Not me, I don't have
Yeah.
time for this. I don't like it either, Mike. Not that you do or don't like it, but I'm not a fan of it either, so I'm glad you're asking these questions.
I'm neither a fan or not a fan. I just want to
I'm not a
understand.
fan.
It sounds like it doesn't matter whether I understand or not.
Well, the 708 board is granted a certain amount of autonomy.
Yes.
I mean, isn't that true? So
That's
it's
right.
not like, we can put our foot on them and tell them what they can do within certain parameters.
Well,
Will we
Yeah.
expect to see, I guess, other line item changes as they come about? Because I know in the past there have been some shuffling of funds. I mean, will we
Given
see
it's only
those?
February, I would expect
well?
that there will be another move or two this year.
Because I don't think we've seen those in the past, have we?
Not until the
No.
end.
I would suggest
No,
that it would be a good idea.
I don't recall.
Well, what's driving this is the personnel and moving that grade, most importantly, because we don't move grades without board
Letting
approval.
know that,
Right. So if the county board has, because payroll is the county system and because payroll reports up through county administration, you guys control payroll. That is so powerful. It didn't always be that way. We got there in about 2009, but this is a demonstration of, at least that exercise of some control, at least you're aware.
if, just as a hypothetical, if there wasn't a change in grade for the position and it was just a change in the hours, would this be coming in front of us or no?
As a hypothetical, I think I want to keep the board aware.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions or
Well,
discussion?
I would suggest that we review the guidelines for 708 boards because there seems to be some, a lack of knowledge of what goes into that.
They can do it. I don't know if anyone disagrees.
Yeah,
It's just, we don't like it.
okay. So,
Or I don't
so
like it.
that's the law, but you don't like the law.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I think it's done. Yeah.
I don't like the speed limit of 30, but.
Remember. Yeah, and I'm sure you adhere to it all the time.
Absolutely.
Me too.
And obviously, prior to the sales tax, the county board had to authorize the levy, right? And that was the ultimate control of the expense. There was some ambiguity there, even how much control you could have had over the levy, but it was always, in McHenry County, understood that the county board was going to sign off on the levy. And we're going to be ultimate decision maker there.
And I would just note that, there's been some push-pull between the board and the mental health board. And I think that we're moving forward in a very positive fashion in that they're communicating better, they're providing more information, they've agreed to review budget periodically in front of the board. So we're moving in the right direction to have better communication back and forth about what's going on. Even though you might not like this, I find great comfort in the fact that we're doing better communication with regard to expenditures than we've done in the past. And we actually did the referendum to give them more financial autonomy.
Right.
So, you know, again,
I will also add that she will be on next month's agenda for her quarterly update report, possibly a presentation to explain a little bit more to the new members, so. Okay, everybody good? Well, my
Yeah.
motion stands. Ready?
I don't have any more questions.
All right. How about, can we get a roll call, please? Well, do we even need a roll call?
Shorten,
All right.
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Van Hoff,
Yes?
Krager,
Yes.
Hendricks,
No.
Altough,
yes,
Von Bergen.
Yes.
Chairman Von Bergen,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to change my vote to a no.
Noted.
We've got that noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, Kyle just sent it, but yeah, thank you.
Okay. No old business. And no presentations or reports. How about any future topics on anybody's mind?
Tracy, we talked about the discussion of the mandated vaccines, which I would like to see removed.
The what? I'm sorry.
The mandated vaccines,
For,
Which one?
say, county employees?
For
or
county
how?
employees.
Okay.
right,
So are you guys gonna add it to the future topic?
for discussion.
Okay.
Discussion? Okay.
We don't have a local mandate on that, only following the state guidelines for healthcare workers.
I didn't know, that's why I wanted to talk
Oh,
about
got you.
if there's anything.
We had and I don't believe this is in place any longer, and I would be happy to confirm that. We did have a mandate for health department staff and Valley High staff. And we did have a kind of an exemption board, if you will, if people wanted to apply for religious purposes, they weren't able to do so.
Okay, so at this time, there are no mandated vaccines, or are those still current?
I think Pete's gonna get back to us, but he doesn't think so.
Yeah, let's confirm.
Yeah. I don't, you mean vaccines generally or just COVID?
COVID.
It was religious and medical exemptions
Those were allowed.
at Valley High, but two.
Oh, I see.
There was a handful.
Yeah, those two exemptions have to be allowed, so.
It's a state.
Yeah, so if you have a doctor that says that, you know, that certifies that the vaccine can be harmful to your health, then that's an exemption. Then you would just be required to test weekly.
So I would also like that removed as well. If that requirement is to test weekly, even with an exemption, I want all of that to be.
That was the way it was before.
Mhm.
Right now,
Correct.
I don't think any of that is in place, but, so this could change if the numbers, you know, like our weekly
Correct.
Positivity rate goes
Right.
to the roof or something like that, then you can expect to see some changes.
Let's just see
in
if we have a policy
Yeah.
in place and
I
what
will,
it
but I
is.
want to be clear. This county board never voted on a policy.
Right. It was, we just,
We did not want to undo. We're just
What we
following
didn't
the
do.
state.
I just wanted the information on it.
So I just know it was applicable for Valley High.
Okay. Are there any other topics on anybody's mind that, Mr. Shorten? Okay. Seeing no need for executive session, anybody like to make a motion to adjourn? Mr. Hendricks, motion?
Mike, want to do something?
Also,
No, he was in-
Mr. Sullivan, seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.